Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 8 Premium American Battleship Massachusetts. She's not quite available yet, but the Massachusetts will be sold soon. Wargaming have confirmed that this is indeed the final version, and to go ahead and create your review if you so desire. I'm probably the most high-profile community contributor that appreciates secondary builds, and yeah, I'm really excited about an American secondary finally coming to the game. My recommended build is on the screen, pretty typical module setup. For my commander, though, instead of using manual secondary, I chose to use inertia fuse, and the reason being, you're not going to have a good use for a manual secondary loadout on the Americans, but you will absolutely make use of a build similar to this for something like the Atlanta or the Flint, so you can double up on your commander that is already kind of awkward for the Atlanta and the Flint. You can choose to stick them in the ship and pretty much run just as effective as you would hope. You basically have two Atlantas stuck to the sides of the ship. They're really, really overwhelming firepower when given a chance. This game is going to have a little bit of everything. We're going to have some secondary gun range, we're going to have some primary guns, and that is one of the trade-offs that you have to make to gain the secondary gun range that creates a viable secondary platform for the Massachusetts. Your guns are the least accurate of any American battleship gun, tier for tier. I think it's like 1.6, 1.7. It's definitely worse Sigma than the Alabama. If you're someone who does not enjoy secondary builds on their battleships, don't choose this ship. You would be better served to pick the Alabama as your premium tier 8 and go with that. Having said all that, she fits exactly what a secondary battleship should be. The guns are accurate on the secondaries, the main battery works out just fine. As you can see, we've gotten a pretty good damage so far. This game is pretty epic though, so we're going to catalog all the scenarios that the Massachusetts is given and see how well she performs. She's got that great torpedo protection that all South Dakota class battleships have. She's got pretty good speed, pretty good maneuverability. She outmaneuvers in North Carolina, same tier, which is good. You would hope so. And the nice thing about this is she still has great AA protection. She's a secondary platform that actually can protect themselves, and it's pretty significant. It's one thing that the Germans absolutely suck at, and it's AA protection. But combined with a teammate or something like that, you can wipe out a pretty good chunk. The torpedo protection is right there. I think it was 48% at the beginning of the video. It's great. It's absolutely great for mitigating the close-in proximity. Also, one bit of very important information. Her heel has a very quick recharge. Incredibly fast recharge on the heel. So couple all that together, you've got a pretty outstanding secondary gun platform. You've got the ability to mitigate damage very well, and a lot of these enemies are having a difficult time with their surroundings, for sure. In this game, I was using a manual secondary build. I didn't have inertia fuse, but, going back and thinking about it, you're not going to have any use for that commander if you stick manual secondary on it. But if you stick inertia fuse, then you could definitely use it. Now, obviously, play the game the way you want to play it. If you're one of these people that I don't care about the Atlanta at all, cool. Don't care about the Atlanta at all. Make the commander how you want to play it. And there's a lot of ways to play a secondary, right? You could go accuracy, you could go for rate of fire, basic firing, you could pick up something like inertia fuse, obviously. All of the secondary guns are firing HE. It's just 10 Atlanta 127mm guns, so low fire chance, but pretty good accuracy and pretty good rate of fire. So everything's just great. And this game's honestly still very close. I don't know what both sides are doing. A lot of lemmings, apparently. Everyone went to the eastern side of the map. Nobody wanted to capture bases. This is kind of what happens when there's not enough DDs per side. When there's only one DD per side, nobody wants to go for the objectives at all. Everyone's terrified of the thought that they would have to be out in the open for an extended period of time trying to capture. And this is one thing that I'm really terrified wargaming. Obviously, the campaign is contributing to the radar. But then we're going to have a whole light cruiser line that has even more radar. We're not going to have less radar than we currently do, right? We're not going to have, it's never going to go back to the old radar before the US campaign. And because of just the overbearing nature of radar, less DDs are interested in playing. There's very, very hard counters that are present, and most DD commanders are just not comfortable dealing with that in the manner that you would hope that a player, in a cruiser is dealing with aircraft, or a battleship is dealing with an enemy cruiser broadside, right? It's not as natural, it's not as straightforward, it's not as easy for the DDs, and therefore we're not seeing a lot, and it really takes away from the potential. So this is like the worst case scenario. There's one DD, I don't really have a lot of protection, and I need to push forward regardless if I want to try and make this work, right? I'm trying to make a video, and it seems to be working. I can angle pretty well. It benefits me whenever an enemy battleship's showing a perfect broadside, of course. We're going to see if we can shove in some citadels and knock this guy right out, and ooh, we almost did. 37,000, not quite, and I don't have the reload. Clearly a teammate's going to take it out, and there's nothing I can do. I could angle and hope that a secondary happens to kill him, but we know that's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, the accuracy of the guns is not as good as the Alabama, and certainly not as good as the North Carolina, but it doesn't really feel that bad if you play it like a secondary build. And that's the best thing you can say, is it aligns very well. You've got main battery, very usable, good turret traverse, great turret traverse, 36 seconds base is pretty outstanding. I don't need to invest into expert marksman. I can pick up a drill and rush and improve my damage output on everything, and that's great. AA protection's definitely there, as you can see. Multiple times the enemy has sent aircraft, and they have not been successful. I think they got one torpedo strike out of all of it, and I was able to put the FUD out, deal with it. And I have actually used up all of my heal charges. So that tells you how fast the rearm is on the heal, and it's just as usable as you would expect. No complaints. We're 9 minutes left in the match, and I have no more heal potential. I really enjoy that. I kind of wish that Wargaming would put more effort into that particular aspect. The quick charge reheal allows for a more aggressive push from secondary players. Could we potentially see that expand to every... Maybe the player can choose between different types of heals or something like that. I kind of feel like, now that I've experienced with the Massachusetts, and I don't remember the Germans or the French having this kind of recharge, it just allows me to be a little bit more aggressive. And Alsace, please don't kill me. Oh, we got so lucky there. Clearly, I should have died, but I didn't. But yeah, the heal coupled with the AA protection, the secondary gun range, the battery, the main battery, the maneuverability, torpedo protection, all of it comes together in a really nice package. This is by far the best Massachusetts I've ever played. The first version was just an Alabama copy, and why would we want a copy of something that already exists? The second version was trying to go secondary, but it just wasn't there. It was real bad, real bad. And then finally this version, secondary gun range is there, accuracy's there, so you don't have to get manual secondary. You've got access to clearly the 406mm guns, which are very effective, albeit not as consistent as others. like the Alabama or the North Carolina. And you got that supercharged heal. Yeah, it doesn't heal you quite like the British, but the window of vulnerability is much smaller on this ship compared to pretty much every other battleship I've played. It's wonderful. And it has absolutely kept me alive in this game. I have no doubt there. I would have probably been only up to like charge 3 of 5 at this point in the game, and we've been without it for minutes now, and we're just trying to finish off the game. You know, there's an enemy aircraft carrier somewhere. We got a crunch dot. Let's see how well we do at long range. Do I hold my fire and try and not die? Well, no, that's not the point of this. The point is to have fun, and I have fun trying to get the last kill. We still haven't gotten a single kill. That is the one bad thing about this replay, is it's like, Notser, where's the kills? I did tons of damage. I mitigated a ton of damage, and I helped capture bases. And of course, he's slinging HE, which he should. Not quite hitting him. I put out the fire immediately, but I'm definitely gonna die before the game ends. Oh, never mind. Kronstadt dies to the Lexington, and we see the enemy Lexington. So, really happy with the Massachusetts version. It's very different from any American Battleship Premium or otherwise, and there's a lot of value in that. I love the camouflage. It's measure 22. Obviously, you can equip whatever camouflage you want. I think that's attractive. It's a South Dakota class, so eventually there'll probably be a mainline, well, not a mainline, but alternative line South Dakota class. Curious to see how different she plays compared to this one versus the Alabama. So, there's a lot to love here. Anyone who enjoys or appreciates a secondary build on the French or Germans, you will absolutely love it here. So, I hope that this was cool, interesting, exciting for those of you. If you have no interest in this, hopefully it helped you better understand what it's good at, what it's bad at, and yeah, we just crushed this game. Absolutely manhandled it. 2,248 base XP. Didn't get any kills, but, you know, that's okay. It's not the end of the world, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about 143,000. We did 31,000 in secondaries, so, you know, it's right where I expected to be. Mitigated a ton of damage. 2 million. Really happy with it. Don't know the final price, but I would guess it's probably $50 or $60. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.